Well, hi there. I'm John Byrne with Poets and Quants. I'm going to talk about navigating that difficult journey to business school. You know, it can be quite a grind. Probably 40% of people who apply to top 10 schools get the assistance of a full-time consultant. But for the rest of us who may be price sensitive about the cost of having a full-time guide sort of hold our hand through the process, there is now another alternative, and it's called onTrack. And we're going to talk to mbaMission founder and CEO, Jeremy Scheinwald, who spent the last 8 months developing this product. I got to tell you, I've just played with it for a couple of hours, and I am blown away by the depth and the breadth of what the product offers. Jeremy, talk a little bit about what you're launching here today.
Thanks so much, John. Thanks for coming all this way to be here to join us for this launch that we think is going to be a watershed in the industry. We think it's a game changer, and I'm glad that you were blown away by its breadth and depth, because that was our intention. onTrack by mbaMission is an asynchronous, highly customizable application. It's a technology platform. It's a resource. It's so much that it's almost hard for me to articulate, and you can tell I'm pretty excited about it. Here we are on launch day, but it is when I say it's customizable, I mean we take you through a questionnaire and you answer some very basic questions, and the curriculum starts to adapt to you. And let's say you happen to have a lower GMAT score, suddenly you'll get a low GMAT module. Let's say you're interested in Harvard, Wharton, and MIT. You'll get the Harvard, Wharton, MIT modules. You'll actually get 2 of them per school. You'll get all of the application modules. Every step in that process, we're there with you, brainstorming for your applications, for your essays, for your entire application process. That's true. Writing a personal statement, writing essays, getting your resume together. It is optional essays. I get so excited. Interviews with an interview recording technique where you can critique your own process. You can use onTrack on your own. You can use it with a consultant from mbaMission, and the consultant will use it as a very precise tool and make call-outs and guide you through the process with them. I can't even, there's so much to talk about. I'm glad we have time, but it's really just the most incredible custom platform out there for applicants to launch their MBA journey, and the breadth and depth are so much that I feel like it almost has to be experienced to understand it.
And you really get to know Jeremy because he's front and center. You're a master of ceremonies throughout the entire journey. There are 450 plus videos. There are samples of everything from resumes to essays. There are exercises, brainstorming opportunities, checklists. I mean, it goes on and on. The complexity of the product, although a very simple, clean, modern interface to navigate it.
I think I said it to you today. I said it's almost like masterclass if they also sent you all the knives and bowls and all the ingredients and helped you prepare it. So that's my new analogy for it. It's really, really comprehensive.
Now, Jeremy, we have an intro video we want to show you, so let's go to the videotape.
I am absolutely thrilled to introduce you to our first of its kind, on-demand and entirely personalized MBA admissions course, onTrack by mbaMission. In many ways, we've spent more than 20 years laying the foundation for this comprehensive experience that teaches you what you need to know about applying to business school and guides you through the process of creating winning applications. A team of more than 20 seasoned professionals work together to write the curriculum, develop the exercises, and design the platform. Here's how it works. First, you'll complete a 5-minute questionnaire, and we'll use that information to build your custom learning path. With dozens of curated modules that include thoughtfully tailored video lessons, along with sample essays, resumes, and recommendations, exercises to help you put what you learned into action, plus guides, checklists, a practice interview tool, and so much more, I will personally guide you step by step through your entire business school application process. And the course is so robust that you'll learn not only how to approach every single element of your application, but also what you need to do before you begin that hard work of applying. We even provide deep dives into all the top programs to ensure you select the right school for your unique MBA goals, and we're continuing to add new schools regularly. We put a lot of work into this just for you. Are you ready to work that hard? If you are, get on track with your MBA application. Start by completing our simple 5-minute questionnaire. I look forward to helping you on your journey to MBA admission.
So Jeremy, who is the product intended for? Your ideal audience obviously includes that 60% of the people I mentioned who are applicants to top 10 schools who don't currently avail themselves of a full-time consultant. Who else?
Yeah, I think we have a variety of different applicants that we're seeking to speak to. I think, of course, there is a price-sensitive market that we are sensitive to. We want mbaMission and our years of institutional knowledge to be available to the entire market. And we've always historically done a lot of free stuff, actually, but this is sort of in the middle. There's free, and then there's just this massive, robust, course that is just, I think, again, my excitement overtakes me, but I think is a really, really powerful tool for any applicant. And so while it is for price-sensitive applicants, I think it's also for some applicants who are just tech-savvy, tech-forward, independent, and really just are self-starters who have a really strong sense of who they are, and are like, yeah, I'm going to take this tool and I'm going to run with it. I think this is for people who are applying to part-time and executive programs. I think this is really, we have modules for part-time, executive, and even deferred programs in onTrack. So I think there's a world where those applicants can really, really benefit. And then I think there are applicants who are applying to non-competitive schools. Maybe are like, I just need help executing. This is going to get me there. If I'm applying to a school that I'm making up is ranked in the 30s or 40s, that's a very high acceptance rate, but you're still struggling to execute, then this can be extremely powerful for you, because you might not want to spend $10,000 on a 3-school package at that point. So I think there are a variety of different constituents, but John, I swear to you, I think that this is, you can't have a product for everyone, but I believe that this is such a powerful product that it can meet the needs of most applicants. I think there are very few that this cannot. I think this is going to serve the broad market incredibly well.
And we'll get into pricing later, but it's roughly 1/10 the cost of a full-time consultant on a big package.
Yeah, it depends. It depends if you purchase. So we have 3 months, 6 months, and a year. And yeah, this would be. It depends right now, because we're starting off with some introductory pricing. But yes, this would be. I'm not doing the math well on the spot, but I'm trusting yours. That
roughly
it might
1/10.
About a tenth the price. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want to get into how customized it is, because one of the things that you're immediately asked when you go into the platform is what your work background is. I chose applying as an entrepreneur, but you can apply as someone who's a financial analyst at a bank, someone who's working for a PE firm, someone who's in CPG, healthcare, whatever, or even a military person. Now let's take the military applicant and tell me how you customize the content in the program to make it very specific and helpful to someone who's in the military.
Right. Thank you for asking. That's great. I think, first of all, the customization is going to come before that person even notes the military. So they're going to note their GPA, and if they've got a low GPA, they'll get a specific module, or a high GPA, they'll still get a specific module. Same thing with GMAT scores. Let's say that person, was born internationally. They'll get an international applicant module potentially, even if they are in the U.S. military, which suggests they have U.S. Citizenship. They'll get, let's say that person wants to enter consulting afterwards. They'll get they'll get what they need to know for post-MBA goals to apply to contextualize being a consultant in their process. So there are a variety of many other aspects of that, but within the military module, there are specific lessons on what it means to be a military applicant, how to emphasize their strengths as a military applicant. There's an introduction to a military resume, things to avoid in your resume, jargon, for example, examples of how to take out jargon. It gets so specific, and then a revised resume. So you're talking about detailed, and this is true of private equity, how to apply as a private equity applicant, how competitive is it as a private equity applicant with statistics. This is true of consultants. Like virtually every path, whatever path you're on, not all, but virtually every path that's represented, every path that's represented well in the MBA applicant pool is, and even non-traditional applicants are represented in onTrack. So if you're on almost any path, there's going to be a module for you on how to apply as that. What are the unique considerations you have to have as a family business applicant, as an entrepreneur, as a military applicant, as a consultant, as a private equity applicant, and it's not just one lesson; it's whatever lessons are required of that constituent with examples. They're almost always examples of resumes or other content that's customized for that audience.
And it's simple to follow. I mean, on the screen, it's almost like cards. And you go from one card to the next. You could skip around. You can go back. You have a resource library that you can consult at any given time as you complete work and brainstorming or checklist sessions. So it's very flexible for a user. The other thing I found interesting, of course, is if you want to target a specific school, and of course you do, you have to start off with 17 school modules that are incredibly in-depth. I mean, in the Harvard Business School module, you're even telling people about how to deal with cold calls and warm calls and the difference between the two of them. In the UVA Darden module, you're talking about morning coffee. And you have a module on Dean Beardsley, and how he's led the school in recent years. Incredibly complex and deep, although simple to access and absorb.
Yeah, I think one thing that's super important to note is while it's customized for you, you'll have access to the entire course no matter what. So if you say to yourself, well, I selected my first 5 schools, but I want to look at MIT now, it's available to you in the resource library, so it's there. The work we put into the schools, I like to think that an applicant could go through one of our school modules, and they could get every school we do. Why NYU? Let's say why not NYU? Every school gets a why not, and we want to be fair. We want to raise your antennae about the pros and cons. Every school we talk about the academic resources and the path you'll follow on the career opportunities, and then after that it's freestyle depending on the school. And so to get to know Harvard well, you need to know what a cold call's like. That's important to know that. To get to know Darden well, you need to know some of the traditions of the morning coffee, of the honor code. And so every school has its own unique components, and then there's actually there's an execution part. There's a learning part and an execution part. So I like to think that after you go through the learning part, you've got a rapidly accelerated path towards potentially writing that personal statement about why you want to go to that school. You still have to do some of your own research because everyone has to customize for themselves. We talk about that in the personal statement module, but you're going to get smart quickly. And then after that, you're going to move into the execution phases where we go through essay writing, short answers. We go through recommendations in general, but for each school we go through essay writing, short answers. We go through interviews for those schools, and again, you can record your own interviews using simulated interview questions that have been served up to past applicants that are there for you. You can simulate an interview experience. So it just gets so detailed on each of these schools, and again, you're right, it's all there on a dashboard at the beginning so that it's not too overwhelming. I actually hope you're a little bit overwhelmed because it'll mean that we were truly as robust as we believe just as at first glance, but you'll realize that it's all very digestible, and if you start sooner, you'll just go through and you'll chip away, and your application will be so much the better for all this preparation.
And while you're the guide throughout, 20 of your consultants have contributed to the product.
Yeah. I mean, we leverage the entire team on this, and we're lucky to have such an enormous full-time team that has when you have a full-time team, you're institutionalizing knowledge. So other competitors in this space, in the general admissions consulting space, because no one has this no one has onTrack, which I think we're very proud of that we just built something totally, massive and different. But competitors in the traditional consulting space, they tend to have gig workers, and gig workers come and go, and they don't institutionalize knowledge. So that when we decided we wanted to do this, we went all in on it, and we tapped 20 individuals to help us to write modules to ensure that we had the thoughtful and detailed, thoughtful and detailed lessons that would, you noted yourself just how specific it got in random lessons that you watched. It gets so specific, and that only comes with institutionalized knowledge. You can't just get that from scanning a website quickly and putting together a lesson. This comes from people's experience, and we've got a team that has that level of experience, second to none. And all of that knowledge, there was nothing held back. All that knowledge is on the platform.
In that sense, this product represents your firm's intellectual capital in full.
100%. I mean, our insider's guides are in the product. Our all of our institutional learning and knowledge, all of our tools and checklists, the things that we use with our clients. We developed obviously plenty of new information for this. So I don't know the exact count, but I think it's around 450 lessons in this, and that's just the lessons. We just put it all out there. That's what we do. We've never been shy about sharing our expertise in the past. We know that competitors will buy this product to learn, and we're proud of that. and I think there was just, like I said, absolutely nothing held back. That's just not the way you make something amazing. You don't make something amazing by holding things back. And we've always felt like, as long as people will take the time to listen to what we're talking about, they will realize that we're doing something at a very different level than anyone else.
Are you worried about cannibalization? Okay, because to the extent that you are representing in this one product all of the firm's intellectual capital, and 20 of your best consultants having contributed to it, are you going to erode part of your own business with this?
Right. I mean, I almost throw back to maybe business history that a lot of applicants don't know about. But Netflix had its best year when it was mailing CDs back and forth, and that's when they decided to get into streaming. And so you've just got to take big swings, right? Like, people thought Netflix was crazy when they went out and said, we're going to move into streaming. We're going to move away from FedExing or UPSing, CD-ROMs. I don't even know. I wasn't part of early Netflix, but DVDs, I guess, sort of back and forth. And that's simple. You can't be afraid to take risks. You can't be afraid to lead, and you have to. If you're part of a client-centric organization, which is what we've been from the beginning, and that's why we did things like make our complete start-to-finish guide available for free, make our insider's guides available for free. If you are thinking about your client day and night, and I am, that's all I do, you have to not be afraid to take those risks, and you have to put everything you can into every product and say, may the best product or service win. And we'll see. I think this will. I'll be proud if this cannibalizes some package clients. It means that we put everything out there, and clients are seeing value in it.
Yeah, no, that's totally right. And one of the interesting elements of the product is, as soon as you get into it, you're given a timeline. And I mention this because, obviously, for people who are going to buy the product, they're going to buy it at different points of entry, or different points of their journey as well. And you have a timeline for an Uber applicant.
Right.
And then you show a timeline for a traditional applicant, which looks pretty chaotic, right, compared to the Uber applicant.
Right?
Right. But is there an ideal entry point for someone to get into the product? And if so, I would think, is it 6 months to a year before you start the journey? Is it now, just before schools will be coming out with their deadlines and their essays?
Right.
What is there an ideal point?
I think it's a great question. I mean, I would hope that people would get in early, because I think there's so much in here that can be, you're right, we've got a long-term planning module that I think if you go through that module and you think about and you go visit our checklist, you say to yourself, what am I missing here? what can I work on between now and my application year? You can start to fill the holes in your application. And if you're not sure about your career goals, we can take you through career goals. We can take you through iterating on your career goals and understanding post-MBA careers, understanding how your skills relate to them. We can take you through the research necessary to really get smart on your target schools and understand how to start customizing your messaging for those schools. So I would be thrilled if people started with this well in advance of their application year. That doesn't mean that it can't be helpful to you, of course, if you just start when you're executing. Also, I would say, like, if you start when you're executing, you're just going to jump in, and you're probably not going to do that long-term planning because you're there. But you are going to start with, you start with brainstorming. You're going to start with we're still going to have to learn about your target schools, which is all those resources there for 17 schools, including 2 international schools, LBS and INSEAD, and then you can move into all the execution pieces. I would say, a 3-month subscription might make sense for some if they're 3 months before a deadline, but I would argue that you actually probably still need a 6-month subscription because it has interview components. It has scholarship applications.
Right.
You can benefit even after you've been accepted. It even has a module on career planning, because a lot of people get to business school and then they decide and they say, okay, I've got all these recruiters calling me. What do I do? Here we actually are asking you to plan in advance for the recruiting timeline so that you're ready for that, so that you're not on campus thinking, oh, what should I do with my career? Or I thought I wanted to be a consultant, but maybe I want to be a banker. So again, the robustness, it's just there. And I think, we wanted to offer a 3-month plan because we want to be flexible for our clients. But I think at minimum, really a 6-month plan, you're going to see a lot of value delivered during that period. Although you can buy a 1-year plan if you're planning, 1, 2, 3 years out. You can always renew. You can go month to month after that.
Right. The other thing, early on in the product, you're asked a set of specific questions that basically allow the product to customize your journey. And I was impressed because in reporting on a GMAT score, for example, you not only give the old GMAT score, because after all, they're useful for 5 years, you also give the Focus Edition score, which is dramatically different. You talk about GPA. You talk about not only GPA, but transcript. Did you have quant courses or not? And you get into a level of detail, but you get through it quickly, that really allows the program itself to look at your profile at a high level and then immediately deliver lessons to mitigate what risks you perceive in an applicant's profile.
Right, and let's say you haven't taken the GMAT yet.
That's right.
We even have a module for which test you should take, and our partners at Manhattan Prep were fantastic in helping us to create that module and create a checklist and help you make a decision on whether you want to take the GRE or the GMAT or maybe even the EA, potentially for some schools. So yeah, it gets so specific, and that customization is really important for you. So yeah, I mean that was the key from the beginning. The key from the beginning is we don't want to have a static, Internet 1.0 course where Jeremy stands in front of a blank screen. Hi, I'm Jeremy, and welcome to MBA Admissions. But we want it to be dynamic, and we want it to be for the tech-savvy applicant of today's world that traditionally learns through video. The fact that TikTok and Instagram are so important, it bespeaks a complete transition to a new way of consuming information. And I'm willing to admit that when I started this business, the printed word was everything, and I wrote books and we wrote blog posts, and we're still doing that. And there's a place for written material, but we want to meet today's applicant, today's client, where they are.
Okay, where I was, even though I've never taken the GMAT, I checked under 700 for the old GMAT.
I know you can do better than that.
Okay, of course. But then up popped the module, mitigating your risk, I guess, or limitations in your application.
Right.
And there it was. If you want to apply to Harvard and Stanford, you might want to get more than a 700 on your GMAT.
Yeah, I think you've got to be honest with people, and you've got to have lessons that have integrity. So we talked.
There's some tough love in there.
Oh yeah, I think you watched an essay video where I was like, okay, this is a C+, and here's why. This is an A, and I love this, and here's why. And of course, there's always room for judgment. But when you're talking about mitigating weaknesses, hey, I'm not afraid to admit it. I would have what's considered to be a weak GMAT score at this point. I was, I got through, I think, on the overall strength of my application. And there are applicants out there that need to know that there are way more options now than ever. So we take weaker applicants through, potentially taking supplemental courses, or taking HBS core, or even looking at test optional programs, or we try to give people as many options as they can to understand different paths that they can take, or just what it means to apply with a weak. Not everyone at Harvard gets in with a 780, the nature of an average. That some people are below that average. So who do you need to be to get in with that weak GMAT score? All this is coverage on everything. It is so, in one word, so robust. It just is. There isn't. I'd be impressed if there was a use case that wasn't served by this.
So I mentioned before that I think this is roughly 1/10 the cost of having a full-time consultant on your side to navigate the path to business school. But the other part of this that's kind of interesting to me is that I bet that if you had a full-time consultant, you probably would spend 1/10 the amount of time than you will spend in this product because it is so robust.
Well, I think if you
I'm sorry, 1/10, 10 times multiple. Okay, that's what I'm thinking about.
I'm lost in your math, but I promise you no math, John. We're hoping that we know that our consulting team is going to leverage onTrack, so everyone who buys a consulting package with mbaMission will get onTrack for free, and you will still get a very highly personalized package service led by your consultant, who will be your guide, your coach, your mentor, your friend during this process. Sometimes even your psychologist during this process. And so you're still going to get all of the attention and Our goal is always to make every client feel like their consultant's only client. You'll still get that, but you'll get a consultant who's able to call out specific tools that consultant will be able to say, you know what, we're interviewing. Let's talk about the interview process. Let's talk about your key stories. Let's generally speak about what you're going to experience at Columbia Business School. Now move to our interview module, and you're going to get a simulated Columbia interview. And just do one preparatory interview before we do our mock interview. Get the kinks out. Let's watch that together. We can both watch those videos together and critique your performance. That's extremely powerful. Let's say you're struggling with a personal statement, and you're struggling with getting the detail right on why our school. Your consultant is going to be leading you through that process of creating that personal statement, and will be discussing with you and be saying we need more detail and pushing you to get better. But they'll be able to say, you know what, go to onTrack and check out. There are 7 different personal statements, and I think number 4 and number 6 are the kind of detail that you're looking for. Get in there, see that kind of detail. And so our consultants are probably not going to use this as a hammer. They're going to use it as a scalpel, and that scalpel, I think, it's a tool that's just going to be incredibly powerful for our package clients. And again, it's just something you're not going to get at another firm. You're not going to get onTrack at any other firm, whether you're a package client or, of course, you're just trying to use onTrack itself, because it doesn't exist there. So it should be, I think our package clients will be delighted by it. And I think your goal as an entrepreneur, as an individual who's built a service company, it is truly to delight your clients. And I think this is that delight.
I also think that if you do decide to hire a consultant, you'll be able to use your consultant more intelligently by using this product. I think you'd get more out of a consulting assignment as an applicant with the base knowledge that this product provides. You'll be asking more intelligent questions, more thoughtful questions. I actually think it would significantly leverage the investment you make on the consulting side, because there's just so much more to start with here.
And it's there on demand, right? So it's when you need it. So
that's right.
If you're saying to yourself, like, I want to revisit that key principle, I want to talk about this right now, and I want to leverage that key principle. We've got a visitor. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there's a visiting puppy here who's decided to jump in, and it's okay. It's live. That's no problem. If you are seeking to to just refresh core concepts. That is something that you can do whenever you want, and you can't do that with any other firm. So if you want to wait, 2-3 days, talk to your consultant in another firm, and we're on top of these things quickly at our firm. But if it's right there. The key principles are right there, and that's something again that we're just constantly at mbaMission trying to up our game, and this is it. This is the latest upping of a game that I don't think anyone's going to be able to keep up with themselves. It's going to take years to get to this point, and a massive amount of investment that we've put into this, not just in the 8 months that we've been developing the product, but also in the 20 years of developing the intellectual property that has informed that process.
Okay, what does it cost? Bottom line, and we have a discount available to PQ users called Launch PQ, 30% discount off the prices. You have a 3-month package, a 6-month package, and a 1-year package.
Yeah, so for 3 months, it's on a regular basis, it's $799. On a 6-month basis, it's $1,199, and on a 1-year basis, it's $1,599. But we recognize we're launching, and we want people to get into it because we know that, like you, when they get into it, they're just going to say, wow. So with our partnership with Poets and Quants, if you put Launch PQ as your discount code, you'll get 30% off.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good discount.
It's a good discount. And we want people to jump in. We want people to experience it, and we think that we're going to have some evangelists out there as soon as people jump in. So Launch PQ, 30% off. Take advantage of it while it lasts. I'm not sure how long it is lasting for, to be honest. So I would say take advantage of it while you can.
And now's the time to do it, because if you are applying in this next cycle, this is an ideal time. Obviously, round 1 applications are due in September. Then round 2, the biggest round always, is in January and February. So this gives you plenty of time to take full advantage of the product and really leverage it to your to the best opportunity you have to get into a highly selective school. And we all know the odds are against you.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about single digits at Stanford.
Yep.
Just over double digits at Harvard, and sometimes it goes a little higher at lower ranked schools. But it's about, what are we, about 6.5, 7 months till applications or first round applications are due, and now's the time to jump in. And this is a product that's going to keep growing. We're going to keep refreshing it. There are always things that are changing in the application world. We've got essay analysis and essay workbooks for every single school, every one of the schools we cover, which is 17 right now. Some of those need to be updated. We're going to need to refresh those because we're at the beginning of a cycle. So we built this to be robust and ready, but we are going to be, with time, we'll add schools, we'll add specialized resources. Now is definitely the time to take advantage of it, but it's going to be growing and dynamic. And can you tell I couldn't be any more excited about it, John?
No, and I'm convinced that the moment that Harvard Business School changes its essay prompt, you're going to be all over it within a day.
Yeah,
it'll be up on your new product.
100%. We're on top of these things always. You got it. This is the commitment you make in developing a product like this robust. You've got to be committed to keeping it fresh and
so
original.
True.
So yeah.
Well, Jeremy, congratulations.
John, thanks so much for coming. Thanks for introducing it. Thanks for your many years of covering the industry and knowing what works and what doesn't. And I'm just thrilled that I saw you get excited as you used it, and I can't wait for more people to have that experience.
Yeah. So there you go. OnTrack, launched today by mbaMission. It is a terrific Sherpa for your journey to business school. Jeremy is your guide throughout, and the excitement that he's showing here, he displays in every one of those videos. And it's motivating, it's inspiring, it really pushes you forward. I think you're going to really enjoy it. Check it out. This is John Byrne with Poets and Quants.
Thanks so much for joining us.